All right, good evening. You know what it is. This is another week of Country Cousins. And Flacco and Dub have made a giant mistake and left me to my own devices. So with that being said, I got some special guests. You already know what it is. This is Diddy 314. And I got two special guests. I got Mark.
At TL Sneakerheads.
And we got some new blood.
Yeah,
we
man,
got someone new here who has never been on the pod before. Keith, introduce yourself.
So my name is Keith. I'm an owner and founder of Infinite Selection. You can follow us on social media at IS Sneaker Rental. What we're doing is we're bringing a rental service to St. Louis. We're going to let you rent the top sneakers in the industry from the hottest brands starting July 1st.
And if you guys want to see him, there is a place I can think of you can see, you can meet, and you can greet him and all of us, the Country Cousins, but especially Mark. Where can they meet and greet all of us?
At the Sneaker Emporium at Webster University and Grant Gymnasium.
Man, so this weekend, St. Louis, it is going down. All you listeners know I am definitely a sneakerhead, born and bred, been this way. This is what it is. So, yeah, there's something big going this weekend. Sunday. Be there. It's going to be huge. 12 to 4, Grant Gymnasium. Keith is going to be there. He is a vendor. He is also going to participate in a raffle. And so what we're going to talk about this week, besides the Sneaker Emporium, is really just like business. A lot of us have 9-to-5 jobs. I am one of those. I am clocking in 9 to 5. And I've always had dreams and aspirations of doing something more, but didn't do it. We're here, and this week we're going to talk to two people, Keith and Mark, about two people who have done it. And the sacrifice, the grind, and everything it took to do it. So, kind of, let's start off with Mark. Give us a brief breakdown of the journey, kind of where you are and where you're going.
Okay, well, I would say right now I'm like in the rebuilding stage.
Okay.
So with my journey, I've always been in the sneakers fashion. I had a couple brands. I've only had one job ever. The one job that I had, I ended up paralyzed off of. And when I was released off being paralyzed, by that time I was reselling sneakers. So I found a new avenue of making money, a new avenue of doing something else that I loved, because I didn't know it was a thing. It's just I was helping people out, and the guy was like, "You get shoes from me all the time, but do you know we make money off of this? So you need to make money off of this."
So you almost like a concierge than anything.
That's what it was.
Okay.
Before I became like a full-fledged reseller, I was a concierge.
Okay.
But because the dynamic of the culture changed, it was hard to do a concierge. It was hard to find certain sneakers because everything shifted. Like back in the day, it was like more so like about collecting. You know what I'm saying? Now everybody want to keep up with the latest. And with everybody wanting to keep up with the latest, you know, people don't be really looking for something 5 years ago. They may be looking for something that was maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half. But, you know, the way that the dynamic has shifted, it's sometimes not worth your time looking for certain things that people not really want to spend their money on. You know, they don't want to spend the price that it takes to look and go high and low and in between to find these different types of sneakers.
Keith's got a grin on his face because
I know.
we'll get into that, but yeah,
because that's the segue to him.
And it's true, and it's because of that shift in itself is why what something like I'm doing has a market.
Okay, tell the people some more details about what it is you're doing.
So what we're doing is we're taking some of those things that he was saying in those high volume ticket items that people really aren't trying to pay for. When he was saying that people want those things that, you know, are general release that just came out a few weeks ago. That they're just trying to get to stay on trend. What we do is we're going to take those things that are a little older, that cost a little bit more money, and give its access to people that, you know, necessarily don't have to put $300 down for it, don't have to put $400 down. They can still get those sneakers that cost that same amount and pay a fraction of the price. So that's kind of why we're kind of catering to the change, because we've seen the shift in the market and how it's going into, you know, draws. It's going into a lot of online releases,
reservations, pre-orders,
for sure. So things are becoming that much the things that people actually want to collect, and things that you can kind of prejudge and say, okay, those $350 Pirate Black when that drops, it's going to be a $500 shoe. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Looking at shoes like that, we take those type of releases, we acquire those assets, and then we offer it to the community, again, for a fraction of the price, and then they can rent it and experience it without the full commitment financially to a release like that, of that size.
So what you were in it, Mark, and just seeing it from the concierge level, and you see the shift. Mm-hmm. Keith, you've jumped in and you saw the shift. You're a bit younger than us, so like for both of you, I asked this both of you. Whoever wants to go first is fine, but like, what was it about you that you saw that you clicked? And you're like, okay, I need to go about this. I need to get this on my own. Like, how did you even make that first step? Because everybody has a journey, but what do you have to do the first step?
You want this one?
I go. For me, I just always got it on my own. You know what I'm saying? I grew up. I didn't get to know my mother till I was 21. Was raised by my grandmother. Father was killed when I was 3 years old. So the dynamic of just how I grew up, where I grew up, you know what I'm saying, was just that mentality of you got to get it on your own. Mm-hmm. So me, I always like to try to cut out the middleman as much as possible.
Got it.
So if I can cut out the middleman and figure out a way to, keep money in-house instead of always pouring money out to hopefully make money back, you know what I'm saying, then that would help me out in the long run. So that's why I did something like buy my own screen print machine, because I know I was going to be creating merch. So instead of paying somebody else to screen print for me,
learn how to do it.
Cut out the middleman. Get my own sewing machine to sew my own tags on. Eventually get my own embroidery machine. Things of that nature and then it opens up the range for me to do more.
Okay.
For sure. And I can definitely relate to that, because being an online reseller is kind of my background. I've sold on eBay, Amazon, StockX, you name it. Being a third party to that equation where you're paying 10%, you're paying 15%, you're following other people's rules. For me, in what we're doing, just having the freedom to kind of make our own rules and kind of look at the market and say, okay, if we're going to do this, then it's going to be on our terms. And that is something that I think we take a lot of pride in, is because we don't really have to answer to someone else. It says, let's say there's a situation and, you and the customer don't agree, having the freedom of, not having, somebody mediate for you or make a decision for you financially is kind of what propelled me to kind of change my shift from reselling to third-party platforms and, just really sitting down and thinking like, okay, how can I provide something different to the industry that still serves this, market that I know so well? And that's kind of how what I'm doing came about. So
it's a paradigm shift, because a couple of years ago, well, not even a couple, like 4 years ago when StockX kind of hit, it was just like, oh shit, this is different, because I've been burned so many times by eBay, never would buy off of eBay, and then like you'd have like Mark would do sneaker events. So in St. Louis, we kind of get something going, but St. Louis honestly is behind. Yeah. So it takes things like what you're doing on Sunday at Webster University at Grant Gymnasium. It takes things like that for St. Louis to get some momentum. It also takes things like what Keith's doing for other people to see outside of St. Louis and be like, oh, what's that noise? That's some shit going on in St. Louis.
For sure. And that's something that that's something that we want to stay here as long as we can. We want to make it to where, everybody has their thing. Chicago has their thing. Los Angeles has their thing. New York has their thing. We wanted to build something in St. Louis to where it's like, this is St. Louis thing, with StockX up in Detroit,
pouring in millions of dollars
exactly to that community. Yeah. That's their thing. So we're trying to look at that, take inspiration from what they've done and how they've done it, and kind of bring it to St. Louis and say, okay, this is how we're going to do it. This is something that we're offering. Can we all get behind this, support this, so we can have our own thing finally? So, for sure, that's something that we take good pride in too.
This is for both of you again. Do you guys have entrepreneurial role models? Like, who's someone that you look at and you're like, damn, like,
oh man,
I like the grind.
Well, for me, it's Jay-Z, Nip.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It's Dame Dash. Dame Dash is like a reflection of me.
Except sometimes you can't be that wild.
No,
He's had doors slammed, and I love Dame Dash, but he's had doors slammed in his face.
The integrity and the morals.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, regardless whether it's you or you, like, I'm going to fight and I'm going to stand up for you and myself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the integrity and the morals is something that's big with me. So when I see that come from him, I'm like, that's a reflection of myself.
Got it.
Me, I put my own bread up. I go broke put my own bread up and then worry about the return on the back end. You know what I'm saying? Just because this is how I've grinded all my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and like I told him, hey, okay, this is the way we can work together. This is the assets that I have that I can open up to you. I don't close no doors unless it's just somebody I don't really want to indulge with or work with. You know what I'm saying? So if you're somebody I want to work with, then I open the floodgates. I'm gonna give you information. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna teach you this. I'm gonna show you this.
And that's what I think St. Louis is missing a lot. What about you? Who's that role model of grind for you?
Kind of what he was saying, Jay-Z and Nip. I feel I was never a big Nipsey Hussle fan until like after what happened to him. I kind of just like gave his music a chance, and then once I started to listen to it, it was like, man, I could see so much
Me too.
of what I'm doing and how I could apply those lyrics to kind of motivate me to kind of take what I'm doing seriously. And that's, I mean, really the biggest part of it was just a commitment, you know, within myself to, you know, say like, hey, like, you know, where I work at, for instance, the government job, seeing people that's been
the 9 to 5.
Yeah, people that's been there for 40 years, and I mean, started when they was 20, you know, pain everywhere, you know, all over their body. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of looked at those people and just one day it hit me. It's like, man, I cannot stay here, you know, 20, 40 years and look like this. You know, that I just got to find a purpose. I got to go out there. I got to try to give something back, you know, do something different, you know, figure out how to get myself out that situation. So, inspiration for me really is, you know, myself. I don't have a, you know, father role model, anybody like that to look to and kind of say, you know, draw inspiration from, in regards to that. So anything that I ever wanted in life, you know, it was pretty much how bad do you want it and what are you willing to do to go out there and get it. And just having that mentality over all these years is just kind of paying off in what I'm doing now. So,
and it's you know, Mark and I have gone to speak to kids at Vashon, and we see the kids who are just in terrible situations. And I think it's good for them to see that you might not have had the best upbringing, but that doesn't have to define you. You know, I don't want everyone to have to necessarily get into the backdrop of their origin stories, but high level view of it is that you haven't let the past define you. Both of you have, and even the people we talked about, Jay-Z, drug dealer, Nip,
gang member,
rolling 60s.
Yeah.
all the above.
Yeah, so no one's let their past define them. It's actually help, in some aspects, give a foundation and push them forward. Is that also, too, what both you kind of find inspiration in both of them?
For sure. I think that is really the hump. Really, like you can take that and you can choose to not let you get over that hump, or you could take that and use that as inspiration to get over the hump. And I feel that, you know, for those who take that inspiration and get over the hump is when they'll see the, you know, greatest growth within themselves and you know, in their abilities to, you know, do whatever it's, you know, that they do. So for me, yeah, for sure.
Well, I look at it like this: instead of always looking at the problem, worry about the solution. And so in everything you can find the best solution. You dig what I'm saying? So like with me growing up without a father, or with me growing up without neither parent, you know what I'm saying, I just embrace the love and the inspiration that my grandmother gave me. You know what I'm saying? The people who were willing to teach me, the people that was willing to give me information, I was willing to take it. But I knew that their information was only going to get me so far. So when their information got me here, I had to gain other information to learn how to get to here.
You had to get the next step.
Yeah, to get to the next step. So I would research, I would learn, I would read. And that was some dope things about Nip. You know what I'm saying? He read to expand. You know what I'm saying? He used his surroundings to understand who he was, to use what he had to get to where he was going. That's really, you know what I'm saying, basically what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm taking that time to evaluate myself and see how I can inflict change amongst everybody around me and how I can influence the people around me. That's why I am doing the Sneaker Emporium, you know?
Okay, so we've been talking about the Sneaker Emporium and everything that is going on with that. Give people a little bit more of, like, what else is behind it.
So basically, you know, I went to, you know, like SneakerCon and a lot of other sneaker expos, and in St. Louis, you know, it really wasn't one going on. So I did my first one at Brittany Woods Middle School, and